I like to ask for learner explanations at the beginning of a lesson or when I'm introducing something to make sure that we're on the right page. I like to ask for learner explanations during a lesson or the introduction of a topic or concept, just to check comprehension, and as an assessment at the end of a lesson.
My strategy to help them is to provide them, to give them the vocabulary and sometimes even to give them whole sentences. For example, when I require them to describe or interpret, analyze a map or something like that, then I also hand them out some sentences so that they actually can use them, and this ensures that the quality of their answer is higher.
I like to use a variety of techniques. Asking questions is a very good one, but I also think that we need to have some novelty, some routines on the one hand and some novelty on the other hand. So sometimes it may just be a prompt, a visual prompt. Sometimes it may be the beginning of a sentence. Sometimes it may be just a picture or something more creative.
When I want learners to explain themselves, they've got to then produce some language. And I think it's great to do collaborative tasks. So they become experts, they could be geologists, each expert in one type of rock, and they then regroup and explain to the other groups how the rock is made.
So you're giving them the opportunity to do the explaining?
Yes, after I've modelled it, then they would choose a different rock to explain how the process has happened. And I'd like to differentiate by having support for question starters or sentence starters available so that those learners who are less sure and less confident can actually go and get this support, whereas the more able, can just communicate or understand without the support, because some learners obviously take much longer.
Why would you give them that opportunity to explain rather than you explaining?
To keep them motivated and not switched off, because most learners when they're learning subjects, especially science, are usually quite keen. They want to produce. So this doesn't last too long, or else what happens, they'll speak L1. But I time them and say, okay, you've got 3 minutes to prepare and 2 minutes to explain to another group.
It's a nice way of engaging them in the lesson content as well.
I think especially when you put them in the role of, say, a geologist rather than just a general scientist. But I think also for clarifying ideas, if we don't give them the support to ask the question, what does that mean? What does extrusive rock mean? They're not going to ask it. They might think it, but again, it's always language support to be able to define, describe, explain.
It's one way to involve them in the process in the first place, to keep them on task, but it also gives me a lot of information about how well they are understanding what they're doing and how many misconceptions can crop up and how to solve the problem before it becomes more complicated.